Hi there, it's Dr. Christina, ND with ivvitality.com. I'm taking another deep dive using the tools of love and nature. So I kind of weigh the energetic vibration of love and all things natural when I am looking at things, examining, trying to make sense of things in my own personal life and also here in the clinic with patients and people that come to see me and speak with me and seek my advice. Because there's always something deeper under the surface that's wanting to rise up. So that is how I look at every element, every situation. So if it's an emotional frustration that someone's coming in with, or if it's a physical element like a stagnant liver, whatever the case is, it's not surface. So taking vitamin C or vitamin E or NAC is not going to get rid of the problem. We have to dig much deeper. With most issues, there's two sides to it. There is a physical situation going on, but there's also an emotional component, and they are both driven by energy. So it really is just one issue. It's an energetic issue. So for me and what I see here in the clinic and in my own personal life, with all the work I've done on myself to repair and heal and work through things and to grow, there's always an issue of love. So somewhere along the way, the quality of love, the state of being of love is somehow broken, or there is a rupture in it, and so that needs repair. And the only way we get there is by working on ourselves, because we have to have self-love. Love is a state of being, and no one can be a state for you. You have to have your own state of being. So your partner cannot do that, your siblings, your parents, whatever age you are, your closest companion or person in your life, they cannot create your state of being. That is your personal resonance. That's your personal frequency and vibration. So that is what you are working with. That is the core of fixing, correcting, regenerating, rebuilding, replenishing, growing, everything within you. It starts with your own energetic vibration. So wherever the ailment or issue, stagnation shows up in, whatever organ it is, okay, well, that's just a clue of where we need to start. So many times, grief is held in the lungs. So what grief in your life do you need to process? Anger in the liver. Where in your life do you need to sort through anger and work through and peel back the layers and sort of heal that energy that's wanting to surface that is then causing your physical problems? It's always, in my opinion, an interruption of the frequency of love. So there's things that are masking love. Lower vibrational states are going to be things like anxiety and fear and pride and sadness. So unveiling these and removing them, often they're buried from past traumas in our lives that we develop and we stack up over the years that we never really went through and processed and let go of. So starting there and working through our emotional states can really help to improve our physical being and also just how we show up in the world, so that we can shine brighter, we can be more loving ourselves, and therefore we can then both give and actually allow love to come into us. And our whole state of being is one of love. So we don't get fearful, and we don't, have as much anxiety or feeling depressed, or all of these emotional states that are tough to work through. They're just a compilation of several things that have built up. And then again, they then come to the surface in physical ailments because it's just too much. Your body's like, hey, let's get rid of this. Here's a warning signal. You have high blood pressure. There's pressure in your body. How can you release that pressure, that emotional pressure that has built up? So it's a lot to think about. But one way to start discovering these things, these emotional states, and how you're showing up every day is to create greater self-awareness. And you can do that simply through you have to spend time alone. You have to be with yourself. You have to understand and get to know yourself. So we come into relationships, we want someone to be in a relationship with us when we don't know our true selves. So we don't know what we want, we don't know what our needs are, but we expect someone to do all of that for us, and that's not the way it works. And that's why people have difficulties in relationships, because they didn't start with a core, solid, interpersonal foundation of who they are, what they want, what they need, and they're not showing up in a good vibrational state themselves. They're wanting someone to handle that content for them, and it's no one's responsibility except for yours. So self-responsibility is very important in relationship, in your personal health, right? So weight gain, even. Weight gain is a sign that somewhere along your path you've neglected taking care of yourself. And there could be other reasons that have caused that self-neglect. Maybe you went through a traumatic experience, you were in a wreck, lost a loved one, whatever the reason, there was things that took priority, and so then your self-priority was less. And so it's a matter of getting back to prioritizing yourself, so that you can then take care of your body, take care of your mind, your soul, and really let the self-love come in, so then it can surface out, right? So again, even with weight loss, it's going to be about loving yourself enough to take care of yourself, to food prep, to eat food that is nourishing for your body, that's going to get you in a higher vibrational state, rather than food that will just take you, drag you down emotionally, vibrationally, and then cause elements again to surface, things that are not good for you. That's going to surface. So I know this was probably all over the place. That happens sometimes when you're diving deep, but hopefully you somewhat were able to follow my train of thought. The biggest takeaway from this is that to find true joy, we want to come into a state of being of love, and we have to find out what is blocking that. First, that self-love. Before we can get that love from anyone else, we have to give that to ourselves. We have to have that state of being. No one can create that for you, and that's going to first happen through creating greater self-awareness, so that you know, how am I vibrating? How am I showing up in the world? What's holding me back? And start journaling about those things, things that bother you, maybe things from the past, so you can start unpeeling the layers and really investigating, looking in, taking that deep dive into yourself. And that's going to take time alone, where you can process and think and meditate and look into yourself to see what it is that you want and need, so you can get the state of being you want to be in. And hopefully that's one of love, because it's a high vibrational state that makes life easier, makes suffering less. It brings you into a greater state of joy and happiness and health. So I hope that helps. You can find out more information on my website at ivvitality.com. Have a beautiful day.